Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting the f***ing ring on our finger.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips.
Molly Bay.
Today is March 7th, 2022. Almost said February. Man, this year's flying by. Yeesh.
Yay.
I can't believe it's spring. It's 80-some degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world?
Nice day.
Beautiful
Except from
day.
the wind.
So, yeah, lots of wind. We got a wind advisory.
I know.
How about that? All right, well, we got a show for you today. It's probably going to be a little short. Not a whole lot going on in the football world. A few things. We'll touch on it, what we can. Some Bucs news, some news around the league, whatnot. How's your day been, Molly?
I'm living the dream.
I know, man. Look, you got me. Mm-hmm. What else do you do?
Look at the back of your head all day.
Yeah. All right. What do we got going on? You know, I have noticed the fan engagement with football is just dived down. All the Buccaneer content creators, their views and listens are probably about 60% down, 70% in some cases.
Well, I think several reasons. I mean, you have the drop off with people who are not football fans like we're football fans. Mm-hmm. So I think you get like a little more casual fan, they kind of drop off. But then there's the football fatigue, which I certainly feel at times, where it's just, you know, the offset, you have the full season and then it's just, you're like, oh, I just need a little break. And then there's not that much going on. So there's a lot of like just downtime and like wait time. Like now we're waiting for the free agency to start. Tomorrow is the deadline for the franchise tag.
Free agency is next Wednesday, March 16th.
Yes.
That's when it starts.
Yeah.
And boy, do we have a lot to look forward to. We got half our damn starters are.
See, and that's kind of the thing too. It's like with the Buccaneers, it's like, is this a rebuild? Like they're saying no, but it could be.
Yeah, we won't know until next Wednesday. Yeah. The state of the team. Yeah. You know, we're not gonna be able to bring everybody back. It's just as simple as that. And I don't know if we want to bring everybody back. So we're gonna see where everything lands. We got the franchise tag. The deadline is tomorrow. It's 4.
Yeah.
So yes. I would imagine, just if I had to guess, I would say we're going to franchise Chris Godwin again and then work on his contract before the season starts.
How the hell have they not been able to come to a deal in 2 years? It's been 2 years of this shit.
Yeah, they've been busy. Lots of stuff going on, man.
I don't know. I just think they've managed to do everybody else.
Yeah. Don't know, man. We shall see. So we've got that. You said tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So we'll know one way or another. Somebody's going to get franchised probably.
Maybe we'll do like a short video on that one after it comes out. If we franchise tag anybody. Because we could do Carlton Davis too.
I can't see us doing that. It'd be way too expensive.
We got Whitehead. We got some big free agents.
I would actually be surprised if Carlton Davis stays.
Really?
Yeah, I think somebody's going to want to get him.
Mm.
We've got actually a few guys like that. Ryan Jensen apparently is really being sought after by quite a few teams.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Like, I think it was Cincinnati was going to offer him like $39 million for 3 years. Yeah,
that was according to Pac-Man Jones. You know, he used to play for the Bengals. He said that. What was it? That he had little birdie inside information that the Bengals are going to sign Ryan Jensen to a 3-year, $39 million deal to be their starting center. He said it's almost a done deal.
No.
Now, apparently, the Jets want him too, and they've got a lot of cap room, so they can.
But does he want to go play for the Jets?
I'm telling you, I was impressed with the Jets last year. When we played them, they looked good. You know, and I mean just good, sound football. Probably one of the better teams we played last year. Surprised me. I mean, it shocked me. Did not think they were that good.
I don't know. Like, stop it.
So I could see him doing real well next year.
Are you trying to get rid of him? Are you trying to talk him into it?
No.
Ralph.
No, he's
Ralph.
He's probably one of the main guys I wanted to stay. You know, I love Ryan Jensen.
I know.
He is fun to watch on that offensive line. He's just got that,
Our whole
viciousness.
Our whole offensive line just freaks me out.
Yeah, we've got Alex Kappa. What's going to happen with him? He's a free agent. Tristan Wirfs is not going to require surgery in the offseason, so that's good. Mm-hmm. He should be ready for training camp and everything.
Well, apparently they like Hainsey too. You know, we drafted him last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or did we draft him? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Undrafted, free agent, whatever. They like him, so if we lose Ryan Jensen, is that an option? I don't know. You just can't replace Ryan's attitude,
right?
I think.
Yeah, and I mean he's a good center too, as far as his blocking and all that good stuff.
He will fight for his quarterback. He will fight you.
He will fight for anything. He doesn't get. He just likes to get out there and fight.
He just wants to fight.
And he's about the only lineman we got like that. And Alex Kappa's got a little bit of oomph to him, but other than that, that's it. The rest of the guys are kind of, blue collar guys that just do their jobs. And Ali Marpet was like that. He never. I think maybe once or twice in the 7 years he was here that I see him get up in anybody's face. Generally he just did his job and did it well and move on to the next play. Ryan Jensen's running 40 yards down the field just to blindside somebody.
Yeah, just to hit somebody. He's pulling people in the pile. And man, headbutting. I'll be sad. I'll be so upset.
Yes, we drafted Robert Hainsey in the 3rd round last year.
Okay.
Yeah, from Notre Dame.
Okay. So I wonder if they kind of knew that this was a possibility. They had to be looking forward.
Yeah.
How much do they plan ahead like that, do you think?
I don't know. It seems like it'd be a little hard to. Mm-hmm. You kind of do a little bit, but, just so much stuff happens during the course of the season and the off season. There's just no way you could plan for all these contingencies. There's just no way. Guys getting hurt, guys retiring, guys getting in trouble.
Yeah, but like at a minimum, when your contracts are up, so you can plan that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of keep guys lined up for replacement parts.
Exactly. Exactly. Apparently, Gronk is working out at the facility 2 times a week. Yes.
Bruce Arians has said he's been there twice a week since the end of the season, and they still don't know what his status is, whether he's going to stay or not. I imagine every day.
Is he just going there for the gym?
Yeah,
it's like it's a nice gym. So
well, I mean, is it that nice?
I don't know.
But he becomes a free agent March 16th, and the Bills are showing great interest in him, and he's from Buffalo.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, Anaheim, right? Somewhere.
Okay. I don't know. I have no idea.
And, the Bills are a contender. Don't know what position we're going to be in as far as contendership, not until after the 16th. We'll know what our team looks like a little bit. We won't know quarterback until week 1.
Oh my gosh. I'm so depressed. I'm just depressed. I like the team.
Yeah.
Hey, we had it's like eating prime rib for 2 years straight, and now I gotta go back to a flank steak.
McDonald's.
Oh God. Yeah. The type of steak where you gotta eat ketchup on it. It's just unfortunate. JPP and Sue both told Arians that they want to play again this year. Play football.
Right.
The Buccaneers, we don't know.
We did. Yeah, they didn't spend, but they both said they're going to play again. JPP, this is the 2nd year in a row he's had major surgeries, major injuries. Last year or the year before last, he had the neck thing that kept him out for quite a few weeks to start the season. And this year, his rotator cuff, he just was not the same guy. I mean, he was literally just a body out there. He was not making plays and all that. So, we'll see if we want to keep him. I think his biggest contribution is locker room.
Yeah.
Arians really likes those veteran leaders, and he's definitely a leader in the locker room. You don't want to get on JPP's bad side.
Ask Vernon Hargreaves how that went.
Right. Oof.
So we had some changes in the coaching staff too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We got 3 additional coaches, and we moved some guys around.
Yeah, you want to run through that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We got Bob Sanders was hired as the outside linebackers coach. Now, Larry Foote was the outside linebackers coach, but he's moving to inside linebackers coach to take the place of Mike Caldwell, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Like, who saw that coming? Like, of all of our coaches on the staff to get a job, to get promoted.
Yeah, you know, he coached Levante and Devin White, so I guess they gave him a boost of on his resume. Yeah,
some cred. Well, I like that Larry Foote is moving positions to be with those guys because he's been on the coaching staff and probably already has that rapport with them.
Mm-hmm. And we've got John Van Dam. He went from assistant tight ends coach to tight ends coach. Rich Christoffel. He was the tight ends coach, but he's moving to a senior offensive assistant role. So he's moving up in the world.
What does that mean?
Senior offensive assistant. Yeah, that's like you're grabbing coffee for the offensive coordinator.
For the big guys.
We have so many damn coaches.
I know.
We just have to make up position roles for them.
Yeah.
Defensive quality coach Joey Fitzgerald and offensive quality coach Jeff Castle are the other new hires besides Bob Sanders. Tim Atkins is moving from defensive quality control coach to a defensive special teams assistant role. So guys are just moving around a little bit.
Yeah. What is a defensive special teams?
Defensive / special teams.
Oh, okay.
Assistant. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So not a whole lot of movement there. You know, if you're not aware, Bruce Arians never fires coaches, never gets rid of them. He says if they're not performing well, he just moves them around.
Oh, so are these the guys not performing well?
Well, you got a lot of promotions in here,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't see anybody that just went laterally, except for Larry Foote going from outside linebackers to inside linebackers.
But that's more of a need,
than
anything, I think. They asked BA about Jameis, whether he would sign Jameis. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like, shut up.
Just anybody. They'll just
they just say
whatever names
ask,
are out there.
I know, they're just asking. And so he said that's probably not the best thing for Jameis. And he's not opposed to it, but he doesn't think it's the best thing for Jameis. So which is an interesting takeaway from that.
Yes.
I don't think it's that. Why not? Like, was it not the best system for him? Did he not? I mean, clearly he didn't thrive the way that we as fans would have wanted to see him thrive.
Yeah, you know, stat-wise, I mean, he broke the franchise record for passing yards and all that good stuff in 2019, I think it was. And, you know, but that was only that away for a year until Brady came in and beat him at it. You know, but his decision-making was just not good. He threw too many interceptions, you know, broke that record. That was a league record there, 30 interceptions. So, you know, Arians could say it wouldn't be good for Jameis. I don't know what he meant by that, but I think that it wouldn't be good for the team. You know, I'm not a big fan. We talked about this when Lovie Smith came as the coach of the Buccaneers. I was not a big fan of it simply because when you fire somebody, you hire them back, they've got a grudge, you know, and even if it's not conscience, you know, there's a subconscious part of you that, you know, you're a little spiteful. You're a little bit angry about getting fired. So Jameis Winston would be angry. He might be happy, would show he was happy and everything, but somewhere deep inside, you know, he's like, screw these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a fan of it. You know, once you fire somebody, that's it. You know, don't bring them back. And we saw what happened with Lovie Smith. It was some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. And I've seen some bad coaching. He just acted like he didn't care.
Yeah.
He wanted to blow this up. Like I said, you know, he blew up the offensive line. His first order of business was just get rid of all of our whole offensive line. Never seen anything like that. I know I say it on here all the time, but it was just amazed me at how everybody just didn't freak out. I think I was the only one that was just like, what? You know, everybody else was like, well, you know, hey, he knows what he's doing. And as we saw, no, we didn't. It was it wasn't until Tom Brady got here really that our offensive line kind of gelled.
Yeah.
You know, it's been almost a decade of horrible offensive line play. So, yeah, I don't want Jameis Winston back. You know, we've got a whole list, and we've gone through it quite a few times here on the podcast. There's really nobody that I see that I'm like, ooh, I really want to get them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Deshaun Watson, we still got the whole, you know, his whole legal stuff going on. You know, that's going to be over his head until it's taken care of.
Well, now they're saying the Bucs are not on the list for him. Right.
I saw that. Yeah.
So.
Carson Wentz, you know, I just don't like the guy as far as he's a try-hard to me. He you know, is one of those guys that just doesn't know how to throw it away. You know,
and it seems like he's got some personality issues because he's been in 2 locker rooms now, where they're like, yeah, we don't want him back.
Yeah, for personal reasons.
Yeah.
So, you know, I really don't want to mess around with that. Russell Wilson, I don't know what's going on with that. Have you heard anything more about his situation in Seattle?
I think it was like the Bears or somebody offered them like 5 first-round picks, and they said no.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen there.
I heard that they kind of put out the signal that they're open for trading him, but I didn't know. Yeah, good grief, the Bears we're going to give up 5. Well, that's what
I think so.
That's what Bruce Arians said. He was asked at the Combine if he thought Tom Brady was going to come back and play, and he said he had talked to Tom Brady. They had to sit down, and he said no. He said the reasons that Brady gave, it seemed to him that his mind was pretty much made up. But then he said if anybody wants to trade for him, he said, I'm not going to do it. And they were like, well, what would be the requirement? What would be like the minimum? And he was like 5 first-round picks minimum. You know, so I'm surprised Chicago offered 5 for.
Wait a minute. No, it wasn't Chicago. It was the Commies.
Oh, the Commies, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've been after everybody's quarterback, from what I understand. They've reached out to everybody. I think they should get Deshaun Watson. I think he'd fit in well there.
I know.
Yeah, there's just really nobody out there. I'm fine with going with Trask. Gabbert, Molly is just not a big fan of Gabbert.
Yeah, I don't understand
wasn't either.
I don't understand the infatuation. I think he's a great team guy. But on the field, I don't get it.
Yeah, when he was playing with Jacksonville, it was just horrible. He was horrible. You know. I
mean, he was bad at San Francisco when he stole Kaepernick's job.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know, I'd much rather just go with Trask, see what we got there.
Yeah. I agree with you. They're saying, BA said that if the Bucs go the free agent route for a quarterback, it would be Blaine Gabbert that they would probably bring back. Just because he's been in the offense for 4 years.
Oh, is he a free agent too?
Yeah.
So we probably won't bring him back.
Right.
Well, man, the list is getting narrower and narrower by the day.
I know.
Apparently Aaron Rodgers is staying with Green Bay, right?
I don't know. They said he'll have a decision by like Thursday, I think. So I don't know, but it seems likely, I think.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. This whole thing is just kind of overblown. Was there really a possibility he wasn't going to come back?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's always a possibility. It's always a possibility he's going to retire, go to another team. You never know, man. Football's just weird. Sports are weird like that.
Yeah.
Nobody saw Tom Brady retired or Ali Marpet. Just bam, out of the blue.
That's true.
Jason Licht was asked at the NFL Scouting Combine to identify young Buck players who stood out to him last year, and I found his response very interesting. He said, I'll single out 2, KJ Britt and Grant Stuard. He said, for the roles that we drafted them for and on special teams. He said, I thought they did a fantastic job. They'll continue to grow as position players as well. We think KJ has a really good chance to be a good linebacker as well as Grant in some sort of role on defense at some point. The way they brought their energy every day, I thought the entire team benefited from just the way they carried themselves. I will agree with him there. Those two played, Grant or Stewart, especially on special teams. He just had so much energy. Now, we saw him in preseason where he played a full half, I think it was, and he was gassed. So he's got that energy out there on special teams, but you only do that every now and then. I don't know if he could play a full game at this point. I'm sure he's been working on his cardio. KJ Britt, I really liked him, when he played, come in as linebacker. He just seems like he's got a real good head on his shoulders, made good decisions, didn't make a lot of mistakes. He did get blowed up a few times on special teams, though. He did blocking kickoffs, and a couple times he got mowed over. But, you got to figure these guys, again, special teams is not what they want to be doing. They're not they probably never did special teams before until they get to the NFL. These guys are stars, in their junior high school teams, college teams, and then they go to the NFL and they're delegated to bench warming and special teams. And it takes a special kind of guy to, really go out there and give it your all at that point, Grant Stewart, he was Mr. Irrelevant, last player selected in the draft last year, so he had something to prove. KJ Britt, on the other hand, I'm sure it was kind of a disappointment for him, but he is behind Lavonte David and Devin White, so he can't expect to just jump into a starting role there. But I did like that, brought those 2 up, because those are the 2 I would have said as well.
Well, I like that. He's just kind of patting himself on the back for his draft choices.
Right. Well, he had talked about our outside linebackers. Tryon and what was the other guy?
Cam Gill?
No.
Nelson?
Nah, it must have been Tryon. But he didn't mention them in this when asked about the Bucs players who stood out, young Buc players. I just found that real interesting, and it kind of makes you go, okay, these guys know what they're talking about. They watch game film. General manager, he's on top of stuff.
Well, I would hope so.
Well, I swear, I think a lot of these guys don't, man. I've seen some stuff, especially general managers, or owners. They go after these big name guys, and you're like, have you not? It was kind of like with Cam Newton, with the Patriots. I was like, what are they doing?
Well, that was Bill Belichick.
I know. He watches film, right? I guess. Just assume.
Just a head scratcher.
I was thinking about this the other day about Brady retiring, and nobody thinks he's going to stay retired. The consensus around the league. There's 2 consensuses around the league that are kind of bother me a little bit. One is that they say Tom Brady's not going to stay retired. Either he's going to come back this year, or he's going to come back next year when his contract is done with the Buccaneers, and he'll be able to go to the 49ers or whatever, go wherever he wants, basically. Right now, we've got control over where he can go. But I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if this was, kind of done on, emotional. I think guys shouldn't retire so close to the end of a season. Because it's just the same way with the fan base. Like we were talking about, people just aren't interested in kind of burned out. They're tired, ready to move on to something else. And I'm sure players are doubly so, they're just, especially when you have a loss like we did, you just feel like, man, I'm just tired of doing this. I always say, give it a few months, wait until right before training camp, then make your decision, But I was wondering, what if, and this is just pure speculation, what if Tom Brady's doing this to get more control over the Buccaneers offense? What if he's going to come back and say, look, I'll play if I have more say, or if, which it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because I think that Bruce Arians would have, whatever Tom Brady wanted, Bruce Arians would have been like, yeah.
That's what I think too. I think it's unnecessary. I think he's retired. I think he's done.
He's made so many comments here lately, and I don't know if he's doing it just to keep his name in the news, which is a high probability. But he's saying things like never say never, and we'll wait to see, and
he's playing coy, and yeah, I think that he's just good at marketing, and he knows what he has to do to keep his name out there. And I think especially when you have so much stuff that you're going to launch, like he just launched a clothing line. Like you can't let your name get stale because no one's going to pay attention when it comes out. Yeah. You can't just disappear for 5 months and then come back and go, oh, hey, look, I launched this clothing line. Go buy my stuff. People aren't going to do it. Mm-hmm. You have to stay.
Have to keep it out there.
Yeah. So I think that's I don't think that he's coming back.
When we won the Super Bowl in 2002 season, the consensus was, and I hated this, I really did, that we were a 1-year wonder, that we won the Super Bowl because we got John Gruden and he knew the Raiders' offensive game plan. He knew all the plays, they didn't change it and all that good stuff. So, and then there's the speculation that, the head coach with the Raiders, was it Callahan? He did not like the Raiders, and so he threw the game. That's why he didn't change the stuff, the offensive play calls, So anyhow, so we weren't given a whole lot of credit for that Super Bowl win, and we didn't do anything after that either. Next year we kind of just. We made it to the playoff a few times, but we just weren't the same team. We started ejecting players, Warren Sapp and John Lynch, and everybody started leaving. So, the national media didn't, or the national fan base of other teams didn't see all the years, the Buccaneers were good before that, so they just saw us win the Super Bowl, and then we didn't do anything after that. So everybody was like, one-hit wonder. They're doing the same thing with us now. I'm seeing it all over the place. The Buccaneers were a one-hit wonder. They won the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady, and they're done now. That's what I'm hearing everywhere. That kind of bothers me. I think we're still a good team. I said it before we got Tom Brady. I said we're just one good quarterback. And it didn't have to be Tom Brady, just a quarterback that didn't make mistakes. That's really what Arians' offense requires, is a quarterback that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. You have to be able to throw the long ball. You have to be kind of accurate. But other than that, that's it. Just don't make mistakes, because Arians is going to scheme you some good plays. And then when we got Tom Brady, it was like, he's the GOAT. And of course, everybody was like, we got to, we're going to win the Super Bowl now. And then we did. Everybody's like, yeah. And of course, there was the whole, the illness was out there, so there wasn't fans in the stands. And everybody was like, oh, y'all won because you didn't have the crowd in the way. It's all this stuff. So we didn't get a lot of credit. We're not going to get a lot of credit. Everybody's going to think it was because of Tom Brady. And a large part of it was because of Tom Brady. But we were still a good team. I mean, if you watch that Super Bowl, it was our defense that won that game. We just beat the crap out of Patrick Mahomes. And all the way throughout the playoffs, our defense was just killing it.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a lot of those same guys back. I don't know what's going to go on with Sue, but in JPP, but everybody else is pretty much going to be here.
Yeah.
We're going to lose.
In the secondary.
Yeah, we're going to probably lose Carlton Davis. But, our core guys that make us great on defense are still going to be around. So, again, I think, as long as we get a quarterback that's fairly competent, we've got a good shot at being playoff contenders, especially with the NFC South. I don't know if you've heard, but Calvin Ridley with the Atlanta Falcons is suspended for the 2022 year NFL season for gambling. He was caught by the NFL gambling partners. He used an app on his phone to gamble. He did a parlay involving 3, 5, and 8 games parlay for the 5-day period in late November. Now, he was not on the Atlanta Falcons when he did this, but he did bet that the Atlanta Falcons were going to win. Well, the NFL has set up a thing with the gambling partners, BetMGM and all these guys, that they have a system set up that if they find any of the NFL players or coaching staff or anybody is gambling, that they're going to notify the NFL. And that's what happened here.
That is crazy to me.
I know.
And the whole league is like, whoa, I'm glad I figured that. I'm glad they made an example out of him. Right. So now I know they're going to use their wives' accounts.
Yeah, right. That's going to happen. There's only been like 5 people in the history of the NFL suspended for gambling. I say 1963, Alex Karras, 1963, Paul Hornung, 1983, Art Schlichter, 2019, Josh Shaw, and then 2022, Calvin Ridley. That's it. Well, the tens of thousands of guys that have played in the NFL, there's been quite a few guys that have gambled during that period. But the NFL is very, they keep this stuff under wraps. Mm-hmm. And, they would have kept this under wraps if they could have, but they had to suspend him.
What about fantasy leagues? Can they do fantasy?
No. Huh. Don't think they could do any betting whatsoever. Yeah. So that's gonna help us. He was a big wide receiver for the Falcons, although he didn't do a lot last year. He had the mental health issues, kept himself out of games for a while.
See, I don't think he cares. I don't think he wants to play football.
Well, he tweeted right after he got the suspension came out. He said, "I bet $1,500 total. I don't have a gambling problem." Because apparently,
that's what people who don't have gambling problems say.
I can always quit whenever I want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apparently, he was in Florida when he did this too.
Mm. Yeah. Wow.
So we've got next week, Wednesday, March 16th, is going to be free agent kickoff. Don't know what we're going to do. We're going to find out. And it's really going to be crucial to what our team is going to look like. Now, like I said, we still got large core guys here, but I forget how many we counted, but it was like half of our starters are free agents this year. So
my biggest concern is the offensive line.
Yeah.
Just because we have a lot, I think 4 guys.
Our whole interior will be gone.
Yeah.
Ryan Jensen, Alex Kappa, Ali Marpet retired. So that's just going to leave Wirfs and Donnie on the outside.
Oh, God. And it's so hard to build an offensive line, as we've seen.
I know. It's not like there's a lot of them hanging out in free agency either.
Right, yeah.
Oof.
One more thing. Carmen Vitale went to the Draft Network, and she's covering the entire NFL.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the NFL? Mm-hmm. The NFL channel?
No, the Draft Network.
What's that?
I don't know. It's like a podcast.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So it's not...
They do like draft stuff.
It's not a branch of the NFL.
Correct.
Okay.
But she's covering the NFL.
Okay. Huh. Richard Sherman, who is a free agent, and we are not going to be resigning. I know that. He was sentenced on 2 misdemeanor charges for his drunken showing up at his wife's parents' house all drunk. Remember, it was on the Ring the ring video of him acting a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He originally had 5 misdemeanor charges against him, but he pled down to 2. He was sentenced to $2,500 in court fees, 2 years of court supervision, plus several hours of community service. Don't know how many several is, but
I know. And that, like, they already do community service. So
yeah, right. Yeah, he could just write it off some of
yeah.
his charity work or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He's cleared on that. I can't see anybody picking him up. I don't know what his future is for the NFL. He'll probably go into announcing or something.
Yeah, some kind of media. Well, he has a podcast, so maybe he'll just keep that going. Who knows?
Yeah.
The big news that you did not even touch on, the NFL and the NFLPA agreed to suspend all of the COVID-19 protocols, effective immediately.
Everybody's doing
We're
that.
done.
Yeah,
it's
like,
over, guys.
It's over for now. You know, there's one right around the corner. They're going to fire this mess all right back up. Well, we got the war to worry about now. It was just like it went straight from that to the war.
Yeah.
It's the same people, same everything. You're just like, what? Do we have to like constantly be in a state of outrage and fear? Is that what's going on in the world?
I think so.
We just can't be happy.
No.
Let me be happy.
I know. Can't we be happy that COVID's over? No. We can't.
No. Now we got to worry about nuclear war.
Yeah. Can we have COVID back?
Oh no! At least
I'll take my chances with COVID over a nuke. I saw Chernobyl. That's like a horrible death.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Don't do that. You know, that's like Fukushima. The Japanese, the Japanese people are just so interesting, their culture. But when Fukushima happened, they lined up, the elderly, they lined up to go in as suicide to clean up the radioactive material and died. I mean, they died these horrible deaths and just didn't think twice. Just lined up to do it. Sacrifice for your country. Man.
Ugh.
That's crazy stuff.
So on that depressing note.
I know. Why do you always do this? Yeah, I told you this was going to be a short one. Again, there's just not a lot of news out there. We'll jump on whenever something big happens. I would imagine the franchise tag is tomorrow. I think we'll probably do Chris Godwin again just because we haven't got his contract worked out yet, and then we'll just work it out during the offseason. But
gosh, I just can't believe they haven't gotten a contract done.
Yeah.
What is the holdup?
No. Well, he's injured, and we don't even know. Maybe he doesn't want to stay. Don't know.
Yeah, he might want to test out free agency.
Right. But, after an injury like that, you're not going to get as much.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know how you're going to bounce back and all that good stuff. And we want to keep him. Light and Arians and all them were very adamant they want to re-sign him. So we shall see. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and our wide receiver core was so deep last year, but now it doesn't feel that way anymore.
No, at all.
We don't have an AB.
No, you
got Mike Evans, and then if we don't have Chris Godwin, that's a pretty steep drop off.
Yeah, we're down to Scotty Miller and Johnson and.
Yeah, well, people have us drafting a receiver in the first round. We have the 27th pick, so.
Is this
I wouldn't hate that.
Have you heard what kind of draft this is? I know there's not a lot of quarterbacks. There's not a lot of defensive linemen. So is it like an offensive lineman, wide receiver draft this year or anything? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah. Need to look into that.
Maybe one of our draft people can comment in our.
Yeah, let us know, guys.
Yeah.
What type of draft it is this year. And
I just wonder about the drop off in talent too, because of COVID, some of these guys didn't play for a couple of years, or they were canceling games, and how
that's a good point.
How much are players actually, how much playing time did they get, conditioning and all that kind of stuff. I just curious, is this going to be a weaker class for the next couple of years?
Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't think about that. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Next week, we're going to have our free agency breakdown. Molly's going to get all the info for that and have it all done. I think she does it every year, so we'll keep her on board for that. She's done a pretty decent job.
So we'll talk about that probably Monday. Because, so the legal tampering period starts on Monday. So
legal tampering.
Yeah. So where teams can start negotiating with players, free agents, and
why do they illegal tampering? That's like legal theft. I mean, tampering is a negative connotation. So
yeah,
legal tampering.
Legal tampering. So they can start negotiating. And then free agency starts at 4:00 on the 16th, which is Wednesday. And the trading period begins. And it is the 4:00 on Wednesday is the start of the new league year.
4:00 Wednesday?
Yeah.
Next
on the
Wednesday.
16th.
16th. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we got that all wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I think that covers it all. Anything else?
No.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Until next time.
Go Bucs.